So, folks, I've got to tell you, I've loved watching the 100 in England and Wales this summer. I did not know that I could, and I have not watched it the last few years, and I did not know if I could get used to cricket without overs. I mean, we have reduced overs and fixed overs cricket now, and then the 100 has taken it to a next level with getting rid of overs, and you have fixed balls cricket. Although, I mean, maybe you just think of it as 5 balls and over instead of 6 balls and over. So I really like the fact that it's a women's and men's competition running simultaneously. That's what I've advocated for in American sport at times, in not just in cricket, but in football, soccer, as it's called in the United States, football as it's called in the rest of the world. Having double headers, which we've seen work for some clubs, they don't work for some other clubs. So you have to do it the right way, and then in other sports as well. And the crowds have been amazing. I keep hearing about how there's less and less interest in cricket among young people in everywhere outside of the Indian subcontinent, really, and maybe outside of Australia, but the crowds I've seen for the 100 have been enthusiastic. They've been young. It fits in the sweet spot in between the start of the football season. Now, obviously, the EFL Cup kicked off this weekend in England, but you have the EFL itself kicking off next weekend. So we haven't had any league games yet, and then the Premier League doesn't kick off for another 2 weekends. By then, the 100 will be concluded. So it fits in a sweet spot on the calendar. There is a fan base and supporters base that arrive early and stay for both matches, driving what have been record-breaking crowds. The wraparound coverage from Sky Sports, which I've been able to get in the United States through Willow TV, which is a pay TV service here in the States, has been phenomenal. I really like the way Sky covers cricket in general. I mean, I prefer Sky cricket broadcasts to the Indian broadcasters or the American broadcasters or the Australian broadcasters you normally you get cricket in. Now, that has not always been the case with football. I get annoyed with Sky and their coverage of English football or European football at times. But with cricket, I think they're just really, really good. Now, I think on the men's side, for me, some of the key takeaways have been you've got some of the players who played really well for England in the white ball series with India, which England, of course, won in the British Isles. You've got them transitioning directly into their sides in the 100. I've really liked what we've seen from also some of the guys who came over from Major League Cricket. Rasheen Ravindra has been an example of a guy that had a great test series for New Zealand against England, or at least a second test, the test at the Oval, then comes over to Major League Cricket, has a huge impact in the Major League Cricket campaign and even in the final match in the playoffs, and then right away, gets on a plane, goes to England, and has had a huge impact in the 100. You look at the Jofra Archers and the Phil Salts and the Joe Roots. They've all had their impact as well. Now, could we see Ben Stokes in Major League Cricket next year? That's been a discussion point. And then wouldn't it be great if he were one of those players that played in Major League Cricket, got on a plane at the end of the Major League Cricket season, and played in the 100? In addition to the fact that he might make a ton of money playing in, if he does play in the IPL, I think he has a big career in front of him in fixed over cricket, white ball cricket. After retiring from the England Test side and obviously retiring as captain as well. Now, some of the other things that I've really enjoyed, although it's not traditional cricket, is that because it's such a fast format, and it's even faster than the T20 format that we've now gotten accustomed to from India and from Major League Cricket here in the States, and the Caribbean Premier League, which my colleague Jonathan Starling started with some great coverage of, and I think it's important we keep an eye on the CPL because we've got American players, at least from my perspective, we've got American players playing in the CPL. Milind Kumar is down there Cheyenne Jahangir is down there. Skadley Van Scalwick, I believe, is playing in the league this year, among others. A few others also. But we have a situation when you talk about the development of cricket in its homeland, in England, that there are cricket purists who have said Test cricket is the proper form of cricket. And I don't disagree with that. And I kind of sympathize with those sentiments. And they have turned their backs on reduced over cricket or fixed over cricket, white ball cricket, and especially the 100. But I see, and this is the dilemma about T20 cricket in general. And I have to say, if the IPL had not launched when it had launched, cricket, I do not think remains the second most popular sport in the world. Okay, I think it was fading in the knots. And the IPL, the export of the IPL brought cricket back into kind of the mainstream of global sporting conversations. Not the international tournaments as much as the IPL did. And then now this exportation of IPL-style cricket, which the 100 is. Of course, some of these clubs are actually owned by IPL franchises. Some of these, I'm calling them clubs, they're franchises, really. Some of these franchises are owned by Indians. Same thing in the States. Same thing in the Caribbean. Same thing in South Africa, right? The only country which doesn't have Indian influence over its franchise cricket is Pakistan, for good reason. But I have to say, even if it's not your cup of tea, it's not the traditional cricket you grew up with, it's not, and you could argue it's not cricket. You don't have the same sort of deliberative style. There are fewer dot balls. There are guys swinging for the fences. The bowlers have less of a chance. There's less strategy around bowling to grind down an opponent, more strategy around bowling to try and get a quick wicket, get 2, 3, 4 quick wickets. It has revived interest in cricket. This is the reality. I see this from the crowds this summer in England. I see this from the crowds in England while there are big football matches going on, that there are all these people at these matches in the 100. I see this in terms of the way Sky covers it and the way they interact with fans. Now, a lot of these fans weren't cricket fans before. And it's the same thing. I've said this in many ways about football, that in England, the Premier League has become exclusionary because it's on Sky. And you get the masses of fans that come back to football when Match of the Day is on, or when there's a men's or women's World Cup or a men's or women's Euros. And I feel like you're getting new fans, younger fans who kind of want the experience of an afternoon out. And you can say, well, it's not the same. It's a kind of bastardized form of the match. But then you get the full cricket experience with the 100 because you've got the women playing and the men playing in the same venue on the same day. You get these big crowds. You have your chance for your drinks break. You have your chance for your picnic basket. Well, sort of. But it does have a cricket feel in terms of the crowd. Now, and then you have obviously the Indianization or the Americanization. It's funny, in football we call it an Americanization. In cricket we call it an Indianization, but it's effectively the same thing. It's replacing sport with entertainment or supplementing sport with entertainment. I'm not a fan of it in either football or cricket. I did not watch that World Cup halftime show. I walked away for 20 minutes or 20 plus minutes. I did not watch that halftime show. That is, I was actually in the press box when El Clasico came to South Florida. Real Madrid played Barcelona here in a friendly, although they were trying to build it up like it was a real match. And there was a halftime show, and I was with the Brit and Spanish journalists and saying, what the heck is this? Why are they having a concert at halftime? It's not sport. It's not the way sport traditionally has been. But in the United States, that's the way sport has evolved. And in India, that's the way cricket has evolved. And so you have these DJs and all this pyrotechnics and all of this stuff that is kind of an Indianization of cricket that has been interjected. Now, what I have realized is that young people want that. I may not like that. I'm kind of an old fogey myself and a traditionalist with so many of these things. Young people want that, at least with cricket. I still don't think they want it with football, right? I think the World Cup halftime show was a dud. I think the pregame concerts at the World Cup were a dud. It was only popular among Americans. But I do notice that to get younger people engaged in cricket, because football, it's different. There's no problem getting younger people engaged in football. It's the most popular sport in the world by a mile, and it's growing. That gap is growing with every other sport. But in terms of cricket, getting young people excited and interested has been a struggle. And I think they realize this in India because it is their national game. And there was a need to get India, whose population on average is a lot younger than European countries or the United States or Australia, interested, and they've done that. So it has been exciting. Could I take a competition like this for 8 months? No, probably I couldn't. But because it's 4 weeks, 5 weeks, what is it, 5 weeks total? Yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I would encourage people to check it out. And I really like the gender parity and gender equity side of it, which is something we should strive for where I am in the United States with our sports as well.